Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm showing off a very cool vintage Balisong. This is not the sheath it originally came with, although I do like it. It says one knife, one life. That's pretty awesome, so I'll definitely keep the sheath. But this was a recent trade. It was a very exciting trade. Actually, originally, the person who had this knife wanted to sell it. Then they decided they did not want to sell it. They wanted to trade it, but they were really just looking for another nice Balisong. And I ended up trading my Emerson Balisong. It was still brand new. It was the CQC7, I want to say, the tactical version. Very cool knife, very expensive knife, for what used to be a not so expensive knife that has turned more expensive. This particular model sells on average today in really good condition for about 500 bucks, roughly. That's what I see them selling for. You know, that's the going rate. That is constantly changing. It just depends on demand. So what knife is it? It is an old Benchmade. All right. And as we pull it out here, that may not help you much because a lot of them look like that. But once I open it, it might help a little bit. All right. What we have here is a Benchmade Model 44. All right, so we have a Tanto blade. We have a full stainless steel channel design, all right, with a T-latch. All right, some people like the T-latch, some people prefer the spring latch. This one is in excellent shape. It looks like the blade was polished at some point. All right, it's just a little shinier from basically there down. So on both sides, someone at some point might have polished this blade here. But it's in fairly good condition. It is really awesome. And one thing you may or may not have noticed as soon as I took it out of the sheath there is we have hidden pins. So if you haven't seen this, all right, this is a pin construction, but you can't see them because what they do is they push the pins in, all right, once they make the knife, then they sand them down even with the handle scales here, all right. So if I zoom in real tight and, of course, I always push it. All right, right there. Now, if I move this around, you might be able to see, the faint outline of where that pin is. The fitment is awesome. But if as I turn this around, you see that light rolling back and forth, you could probably see the two small circles. All right, let me use a little piece of paper here. Let me use this as a pointer. So look right in here, there's a circle there. Right, and then obviously a circle here where the pin is. The fitment is so incredibly tight, it's almost invisible unless the light catches it right. But you might be able to see those two circles. Let me see if the other side's any more visible or not. All right, so I'll outline it with this corner of this piece of paper here. It goes right like this. That's the circle right there. Can you see that? Talk about tolerances, right? On the other side, I don't even see it. I literally don't even see it. So yeah, I mean, it's just a super cool throwback here. I believe this one came out in 1993. Again, we have stainless handles here. Okay, so it's a lot heftier than like a 42. Our blade, I believe, is a G2 stainless steel, which is what Spyderco was also using at the time in the early 90s. This is the Model 44. You will also see the same exact knife with the Weehawk blade. So if it looks like a 42, but it has the stainless and the hidden pins, that is the Model 45. All right, they're kind of synonymous with each other. A lot of times when people are selling one, sometimes they're selling the other. But if you happen to see a Model 45, that's what it is. It's this knife, but instead of the Tanto blade, we have the regular Weehawk style blade. So yeah, it is just an awesome Tanto blade. Some other, full-size Tanto knives in the past. I mean, the 44, I believe, was the first if you're talking about Benchmade. Now, if you look at the, let me show you the actual markings on the pivot here. All right, so we see the Balisong logo on one side. Flip it over. We have Benchmade USA. Now, pre-Benchmade, when it was still Pacific Cutlery Co. or PCC, there's a bunch of different models that had, Tanto blades on there, including the custom shop stuff. But as far as Benchmade history, the actual Benchmade, name, I believe the 44 was the first Tanto. Then moving down in history, or I guess up to more recent years, when I really hit the scene and I got into Balisongs and stuff, they had the 47. That was part of the 4X line. So the Benchmade Model 42 was the gold standard. Everyone knows about that one. All the other 4X models were the same thing, just with different blade shapes. So the 42, everyone knows, the 43 had the Bowie blade. The 46 had the spear point blade. The 47 had a Tanto. And then there was the 49, which is the Chris style blade. Then way after the 4X series, we had the 6X series. And of course, they changed the design completely, but they tried to mimic those original blades. So instead of a 42, you had a 62. Instead of a 43, you had a 63, right, for Bowie blades. Instead of a 47, we had the 67, which I currently still have. That has a pretty wicked looking Tanto blade because it curves in, so it's a kind of extreme curve. All right, if you haven't seen it before, and in fact, I'll do a Balisong collection update in the near future. I had a couple people ask me. Tom Connolly is one of the actually he's a paid member, so he does actually pay to watch the channel, which is kind of nice. If you haven't seen it before, it's an option. It's down there somewhere. It's like a $sign if you want to. It's basically just a way of donating. But I appreciate his support, and he was asking me if I could do a Balisong collection update, so I really want to make that happen for him as well as everyone else who wants to see it. So you'll see the 67, which I still have, but I do not have a 47 anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, I just kind of want to show this off a little bit today. I thought it was awesome. It's a big addition to my personal collection. I really am trying to focus on pretty much all the Balisongs from Benchmade, as well as, you know, pre-Benchmade when they were PCC. Besides that, there are some other vintage Balisongs I do like, and I'm still very much collecting, but we'll talk more about that when I do my collection video. It'll be like a collection update. But what's nice about these 44s, again, is that extra heft. I happen to like the stainless steel. I think it's really nice. At some point, they came out with the 42 SS. So once they had so originally they had the 45, which was stainless. Then when Benchmade made the Benchmade model 42, they turned to titanium, as most of you know, right? The 4X line was titanium handles. So at some point, as a throwback, they came out with the 42 SS. So they did the exact same 42, but in stainless steel handles. And it was awesome. I liked the extra heft of it. I thought it was cool. Don't get me wrong. If you've ever flipped a Benchmade model 42 that was in decent shape still, not completely, you know, busted up and stuff, it flips wonderfully. It really is very well balanced. It's a great knife. I happen to always like it, but the stainless steel versions they're still cool to me. That extra heft, I mean, it does bust up your knuckles too. You know, when you're doing ricochets and stuff, that there's a lot of extra weight and momentum, you know, hitting your hands. But I focused a lot on aerials, and the stainless steel it had that more momentum, it had more heft, so I was able to get those flips in, a lot more flips in a shorter distance. It might be kind of hard to explain if you're not, you know, a flipper, but I liked it. I preferred that for those particular style moves. So stainless does have advantages, in my opinion, and disadvantages depending on, you know, how you're flipping and what you're flipping for. But it just has that physical heft. It feels like a more sturdy knife for some reason. I talked about that before. Sometimes a heavier knife feels like it's built better. I don't know why. There's some psychology there, like, oh, it's heavy, so it's better. Not necessarily at all, but I still like it. So yeah, that's it. That is the Benchmade Model 44. Very cool little throwback. So I just want to share with you guys. Like I said, I will certainly be making a video very soon on a Balisong collection update. So stay tuned for that. I do want to give a little shout out to Carlos. I really appreciate the trade. I hope you enjoy the Emerson. The reason he was trading this for the Emerson, because the Emerson's like 350-ish as far as value. And like I said, these can range from 350 to 500. I don't really see these get more than 500 very often, unless you had one mint in the box. Then maybe you can push who knows where for a collector. 700, 800, 1,000. The sky's the limit as far as collectors go, because finding one mint condition with paperwork in the original box and sheath and everything, that's very difficult. It's hard enough to find these as it is, never mind not touched, you know, brand new old stock. But he didn't mind giving me this in trade, even though it's worth a little more than what I gave him. He's very much going to use the Emerson. He's going to flip it a lot more. He's going to cut with it, all kinds of stuff. So it just makes it harder. Sometimes these older models, they're very cool for collecting, but they're not as, you know, I guess user-friendly is the best way to put it. I mean, some people have reservations like, oh, I don't want to beat this up. You know what I mean? I'd rather just get something a little bit cheaper and not feel as bad, you know, scratching it up and dropping it and things like that. So anyway, ultimately, I'm very happy with the trade, and hopefully Carlos is very happy with the trade as well. I really appreciate it. So anyway, that is it for now. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take it easy.